welcome to Right from the Author. I'm Joe Cochran, and each week we will have a new author here, and we will talk about his or her book. This first show that we have, I'm very thankful and lucky to have Dr. Billy Taylor. You might have known him back in the 70s as the great running back Billy Taylor. We will find out how he went from running back Billy Taylor to Dr. Billy Taylor. Stick around, and we'll talk about Get Back Up. We'll hear it right from the author, Dr. Billy Taylor.
Personal foul? Inactive activities on a glorious day.
Huh?
Let's get out there and play!
Sweet.
Ooh, freeze!
When do I get to be in? Uh-oh.
Hey, Reggie, frozen people can't talk.
PLA!
An hour a day.
I'm it. There are lots of great play ideas online, but don't stay too long.
Hi, I'm Joe Cochran, and this is Right from the Author. I'm Joe Cochran, and I'm joined this week by Billy Taylor, the former Michigan running back. Billy, it is a pleasure to have you. Welcome.
Thank you, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here.
And we're going to hear right from the author. It has been quite a story. The book is Get Back Up. And Billy, it has been quite a road. First, we start Barberton, Ohio. You were born in Arkansas, moved to Tennessee. You go to Barberton, Ohio, exactly where Bo Schembechler went to high school. Talk about how you ended up at the University of Michigan.
Wow. It is a pleasure. And Bo has been like a father of mine for years. In fact, we went to the same high school, and oftentimes as we traveled around speaking engagements in later years, Bo would tell people that we both graduated from Barberton High School, and I would kiddingly say, yeah, right, but he graduated 200 years before me.
And he would do what?
Taylor, you know.
I can hear you got that voice down pat.
But yeah, it's quite a journey from Barberton High to Dr. Taylor to Get Back Up. And in fact, Get Back Up has become my personal philosophy. And as I travel and I do motivational speaking, one of the first things I say to an audience is that I have not always been Dr. Taylor. It's been quite a road, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. And Get Back Up is so personal because I found in life, like in sports, particularly football being my sport, that when you're knocked down, it's imperative that you get back up if you want to be successful. And everyone gets knocked down in life some type of way, one time or another. You know, in fact, I used to say, if life knocks you down, get back up, but now I say, when life knocks you down, get
And
back
dust yourself
up.
off.
Absolutely.
You know, let's get into your sophomore year. 1969, you guys start out, you get two big victories against Washington and Vanderbilt, and then you run into a Missouri team and you take a tough loss, then you win, then you lose to Michigan State, you're 3-2. How did Bo get you re-energized at 3-2? He's in his first year, you're a sophomore, because then something magical happened. You end up knocking off the #1 team in the nation at the end of the year.
Well, Bo just worked the heck out of us, and that's one thing I like about Coach Rodriguez. He reminds me of a young Bo Schembechler with a southern accent, if you can picture that. But just a work ethic. Bo believed that he or we could beat anybody. And in fact, he made us believe it. And particularly fast forwarding to that 1969 Ohio State game. Coaches say, Bo say, Lloyd Carr, and many other people that are associated with Michigan football said that was the greatest Michigan game and upset in Michigan history. And I'm happy to be able to say I played a small part in that. But it's all about what you can do when you believe that you can be successful, when you believe that nobody can beat you. And Bo had us in such a mind state that before the game, we knew we were going to beat Ohio State. They came into the stadium as the #1 team in the country, I think for the previous 2 years.
Right.
Had 20-something consecutive victories. Ohio State was touted
Woody
to
Hayes,
be,
Rex Kern.
They said they were the best team ever assembled,
Yeah.
best collegiate team ever assembled. And we took it real personal. And I remember that week of practice like no other. We worked so hard, but we were preparing to beat Ohio State. They were coming into our backyard, as we used to say. You don't come to our backyard and beat me. And it's the same thing like as a kid. You know, maybe down the block, if we got into it, if you're pretty tough, because I was always kind of tough, you know, maybe you could beat me up down the street, but you're not going to come down to my house in
not
my
in our
backyard and beat me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to rise to the occasion and I'm going to win. But we all felt that way, and the team was, the core of the team were sophomores, were first-year players. As you know, freshmen couldn't play back then, and I'm really dating myself now, but it's just something to the fact that what the mind can conceive, the body can achieve.
Yes.
And it was that type of thing. We went out, and I think, you know, we were a great team, but everybody played a great game. Everybody on offense and defense, up and down the line, all the skill positions, everybody played their best that day, and we didn't make mistakes, and that's rare, you know, but thanks to Bo, you know, we went into that game. I tell you, the Michigan team, Bo Schembechler, the coaches, maybe one or two Michigan fans, we were the only ones that felt we were going to win. The papers said we had 2 chances of winning, slim and none.
None. I knew it. And you know what? I remember that. I'll date myself too, because I was watching her and I became a Billy Taylor fan that day. And then, of course, the next year, only 1 loss. I think you only lost 5 games your entire 3 years that you played. 1,297 yards rushing, 30 career touchdowns, a 5.2 yards per carry average. That's Jim Brown numbers. I know that's the NFL, but that's some great numbers. You know, 2 Big Ten titles in a row, and then the 1 loss to Ohio State in your junior year. But now let's move up to the senior year now. You guys run the table. You score the winning touchdown that leads Bo to his first perfect regular season. That feeling has to be, and then it sends you to the Rose Bowl.
It was the greatest personal achievement athletically, and the greatest individual play or effort of my entire career was scoring that winning touchdown. I mean, think about it. You have the largest crowd ever assembled to watch a collegiate game. We got a 100-year rivalry going on nearly, you know, headed that way against Michigan and Ohio State. It's what's at stake? The Big Ten championship, trip to the Rose Bowl, and a possible #1 ranking. And as a football player, you know, I dreamed of from a child, and I know a lot of other guys had, you know, just doing something to win the game, intercepting the ball, scoring the touchdown, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do that with a couple of minutes left, and that did give us 11-0 season, and I think the first since 1947 or something, back in the days of when Bump Elliott was a player.
So U of M is now reborn. It had some down years, but then comes Bo, Billy Taylor, and many others, Brandstetter, and you guys, there's a rebirth for the University of Michigan now.
Actually, it started with the '69 victory over Ohio State.
That's what I'm saying. When your sophomore year,
Right.
That's the rebirth of
There
Michigan
were,
football.
at that time, I think 103,000 in the stadium, and that was the largest crowd ever assembled. Well, we broke that record again in '71. But an interesting statistic that I heard, you know, being up in Ann Arbor all the time, is that since 1969, the Michigan Stadium has never had a vacant seat or an empty seat for a home game. The stadium has been full, and prior to that, in 50s, 60s, they'd have 50, 60,000 people there in a 100,000 seat stadium. But it was filled to capacity in '69, and every home game since '69, my sophomore year, has been a sellout.
Over 100,000. That's an amazing, I mean, we're talking over 30 years now,
Over
nearly
30
40 years, and that was a great run.